This is an extract from the Leader podcast by the Evening Standard, hosted by me, David Marsland. To hear the whole thing, search for us on your podcast provider. Colonel Sir Tom Moore is one of the heroes of the coronavirus crisis. Approaching his 100th birthday, he decided to raise money for the NHS by walking 100 laps around his garden. He wanted £1,000. He got 33 million. Now he's also got a knighthood, following an unusual ceremony at Windsor Castle. The Evening Standard's Lizzie Edmonds is here. And Lizzie, getting made a Sir is always a little bit special, but they've had to lay on some special measures for Tom Moore.
They have. So yes, I think we last spoke at the end of April when he was given the honorary title of Colonel for his birthday. And then shortly afterwards, a couple of weeks afterwards in May, Boris Johnson, none other than, announced that he would be knighted, which is pretty exceptional in itself to have the Prime Minister announcing that. So that's one thing that's been a special exception for Captain Tom. All other royal investitures have been put back towards the end of the year because of the pandemic, but again, not for Captain Tom. Today, rather than Buckingham Palace, he's going to Windsor to meet the Queen personally. Not everyone who's knighted is done so by the Queen, so he got the top royal, as it were, for his ceremony. It was a bit special as well because of the pandemic, so social distancing measures were put in place. I assume that's adequate distancing, lots of hand sanitizing. So it would have been a very special ceremony, but one that reflects our brave new world, as it were.
Yeah, obviously we haven't been able to see it, but I wonder how they did the sword on the shoulder thing. I wonder how long that sword is, Lizzie.
Well, the Queen used a sword that belonged to her father, King George, and that was used for the normal ceremony. So I don't know. I assume that is normal sword length. I haven't been told otherwise. I think the actual passing of the insignia of Knight Bachelor, the actual medal, as it were, I think is something that Buckingham Palace had been looking into how they would do that and make sure it was sanitary. A statement that they released a few hours ago suggested something like that. So they've definitely put a lot of thought into it, for sure.
I mean, they've really laid out the red carpet for Sir Tom Moore now. But it's very deserving, isn't it? I mean, the country really did unite behind him and his campaign for the NHS, didn't it?
We did. He was only supposed to raise wanted to raise £1,000, and he raised just short of 33 million. He very much captured the hearts of the nation, and back in March and April when he was it was April that he was doing the walking, it was the depths of lockdown for the UK, and a lot of people were finding it very difficult, finding life very confusing, and it was a very bleak time for a lot of people. And here was this 100-year-old war veteran, doing what he could to support our great NHS, and everyone just got behind him. And I think he is an emblem of strength and courage. And he said today, though, that he felt very humbled that this was happening to him, and it must have been a real whirlwind few months for him as well. But yeah, I mean, to go from living at home in Bedfordshire and just thinking, you know what, I may as well try and raise some money for the NHS, to being knighted by none other than the Queen herself in a special ceremony put on just for you, that was announced by the Prime Minister, must be a surreal moment for him.